Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're joining us. This is Ultiworld's continuing coverage of the 2022 USA Ultimate Club Championships, live from just outside San Diego at the Surf Cup Sports Park in Del Mar, California. Ian Toner alongside Katie Killebrew. We've got a Pool D matchup here in the women's division to start off our second round. It's Portland Schwa versus DC Scandal, Katie.
It's going to be an exciting matchup. I said a little bit before the broadcast, but in a first round, it was dead calm. There was nothing. And now you can see the wind has picked up extremely. It is a totally different game than the first round that these two teams played just 2 hours ago. Not even that long, but I think that we're going to have to see some big adjustments to this crosswind game. You can see here DC Scandal getting on the line. What are we looking for from them, Ian?
So this DC Scandal team is a group that really wants to focus on clean, possession-oriented offense, as its captains and coaches have told us. And I think it bears repeating that this is Scandal's first appearance at the club championship since 2019. This was a team that didn't exist in the 2021 season, but key anchors like Nada Tremonti and other members of the leadership are really instrumental in keeping the idea of this team, the core of this team alive, and bringing it back to life here for the 2022 season, and really invigorated with both older Scandal veterans who've won national championships and also a mix of experienced players and newcomers into the fold.
Very much so, and you can see on the other side we have Schwa. These two teams have not met this season, so they are relying on game footage to see each other. But Schwa is a team that absolutely plants themselves defensively. They play tight defense. They're going to get big blocks, I think, in this game, especially on those second efforts in the wind. And there you can see handler number 6, Claudia Tajima, is definitely a player to watch in this game. Anchoring the O-line, I think, in this wind is going to be especially important, especially as they add new players. We had some players that they haven't played with them, with Ella Pope and Ali Steinfeld, who weren't able to be with them earlier in the season, that are now adding to this line.
Yeah, so this is actually Eva Pope's first tournament with Schwa this season, and you compare the Schwa roster here at the national championships against the group that was competing at pro championships. Angelica Boyden, Shea Brennan, Emery Oda-Pollock, Amanda Ulrich, Talia Barth, and Eva Pope were all not there. So a lot of new contributors here on the field, bolstering the roster for Portland Schwa. We are underway here, round 2 at the 2022 USA Ultimate Club Championships. Schwa in the white jerseys, going from left to right across your screen. And as Katie mentioned in our open, we've got significantly more wind in this round relative to what these teams experienced in round 1. It's really more of a stiff crosswind going from that far sideline on your screen right towards us, essentially coming right towards the camera with some really serious intensity. So definitely going to change some strategic defensive and offensive options for both teams.
Yeah, the Cutters getting further and further away from those Schwa handlers.
Contested grab there made by Rachel Egan. Some tight defensive pressure by Sophia Hulbert. She's not contesting the foul.
No, it almost, somebody's foot ended up on somebody's head. That's definitely not what you want to see.
Here,
but
coming
really
out
good
one
focus
when we're
to
ready.
make that catch.
Here's Egan. Resetting to Danny Runzo. Runzo pivoting and trying to lead Kimber Coles to space, but just a bit too far. And DC Scandal is going to have its first break chance on the first point of the game.
That was pretty good focus there from Schwa. They moved the disc quite a lot, but their cutters got too far away from their handlers in this crosswind, and the defense from Scandal was really tight as they get off on this break opportunity there, unfazed.
Lisa Dang shooting deep to Claire Trope, and she reels it in on the goal line. Looking into the end zone, and that one's caught by Sandy Jorgensen, and Scandal breaks to start this one.
I think that Trope to Jorgensen connection is something that we're going to see a lot of in this game. Trope, one of the World Games players, making a name for herself in this division, in the land of Ultimate. And really, I'm just impressed with how quickly Scandal attacked in that wind.
You get another look at the turnover there from the Schwa O-line, and then we've seen a lot of this from Scandal after the turnover. Just looking a fast break and strike quickly. When you've got receivers like Trope and Jorgensen able to stretch the field and make those plays, just so difficult for O-lines to deal with.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of a settling in period in this game as both of these teams adjust to the wind. But this is certainly not a game that Schwa is going to want to let get away from them. They lost in their first game. We saw them on the field pass level games. I was calling some of those over there, watching 4 games at once in the other Ulti World coverage, and they weren't able to make it happen against Phoenix, letting that get away from them. But they're the 3 seed in this pool, and if they're going to make an impact, they will need to beat Scandal. Scandal, however, definitely doesn't want that to happen. They want to get this game over with.
Yeah, Schwa falling to Phoenix 15-9 in round 1, and Scandal taking care of business against Pop to the tune of 15-8. As we get another look here at the Schwa O-line. Nicola Bruce. Eisenbray
with the disc to Zajon. Back to Tajima. They are all back and forth. I think that with this crosswind, they don't want to get stuck on that sideline. Tajima has no more patience.
Julia Sherwood goes up with authority and skies Nada Tremonti. Tajima just, as you said, Katie, hoping to not turn the disc over near the Schwa end zone, and Sherwood making the play on the disc, and here's a hanger that Tajima gets the better read on. Eisenbray all alone at the front of the stack there. Now just 7 yards outside of the end zone, faking, looking for a reset. Tajima gets it again. Here's Eisenbray. Swinging over to Pope. Pope continues to Bruce. And
Finally.
Portland Schwa scores to tie it up at 1.
Yeah, that is exactly the possession that they wanted. They were getting kind of trapped in their own end zone line. Scandal doing a really good job of defending the handler movement. Schwa known for getting into that power play movement like we talked at the beginning of the broadcast. And Scandal stopping them, but Claudia Tajima, I think, really opened that up by that big open space throw, which we're gonna get another look at, reeled in by Julia Sherwood. Having the ability to have Sherwood as a cutter is just amazing to me on this line. Such a good thrower in her own right, really tracking that down and then moving the disc so effectively. Yeah, these throws are coming in, but you can see that it is quite windy. It's a crosswind, like we talked about a little bit, coming right towards the camera. It is hot and sunny out here, so it feels maybe a little bit colder with that wind, but the sun can certainly sap your energy over the course of the day.
No doubt about it, and let's be honest, no doubt we've got some great work behind the scenes getting the forecast info being fed into our graphics. That wind is definitely stiffer than 8 miles an hour right now.
Yes.
Potentially double, if not more, as we sit up here on the scaffolding on the sidelines. And here's Scandal's O-line stepping out onto the field. Kat Ritzman resets the disc. Shirley Vole near midfield gets it up to Casey Gorman. Gorman to Lizzie Laurie. Last saw her competing with both Space Heater and Molly Brown. Tight upline space there to Verena Wollison. Off the line to Ritzman, and Scandal turns it over. A break chance here for Portland Schwa. Angelica Boyden floats one up there. It goes off the hands of Talia Barth, and we've got a discussion here.
Yeah, great defense by Schwa, but in the wind, that disc was just on a line.
Do you want to send it back or do you want a ruling?
We can do a ruling.
Okay, observer ruling, you initiated the contact, so it's not a foul. We're going to start with the check.
Mitch Dangler as clear as ever, making it clear that Talia Barth initiated the contact against Shirley Vole. And that break opportunity falls to the turf for Portland Schwa, and Lizzie Laurie picks up and gets things started for Scandal.
We're seeing a lot of higher stall counts here for Scandal. They're being patient with it, but Schwa really taking away a lot of options.
Here's Walker over to Barina Wollison. Back to Walker. Continues to Vole. In the red zone now. Scandal's O-line looking to hold. Reset to Ritzman. Marked tightly by Morgan Caldwell. And we have another call. There was another pick in the stack.
Yeah,
a lot of traffic back there, Katie.
Very much so. I think that transition for your end zone set, and now that they're going to get into it, sometimes creates picks.
Laurie tries to connect with Gorman, but
Pops
Gorman,
off her chest, maybe?
Yeah, Gorman unable to reel it in. You know, just that little opportunity for a gust of wind to get underneath that bottom edge of the disc makes those once sure-handed grabs a lot more difficult.
Yeah, there are no sure grabs today.
Here's Caldwell. Finds Barth. Barth trying to initiate some movement with a fake. Here's Bishop. Bishop up to Boyden. Boyden pulls the trigger once again. We've got Crystal Davis, the former Scandal star, going deep. And she's got it on the second attempt. Crystal Davis reels it in, and Portland Schwa gets its break back.
That is an impressive throw in the wind, really trusting the receiver there, you can see that there was so much edge on that disc here, just the turn in the end zone. Scandal not able to capitalize. Really the wind affecting that throw. The short ones I think sometimes are more difficult than the long ones, but really good work by Schwa's D-line there to convert and really make Scandal work all the way up the field twice in that point.
Crystal Davis, such an accomplished player in this women's division, having competed with both Scandal and Molly Brown, and she now lives in Bend, Oregon, and is the only player commuting from that location. That's a 3-hour drive to practices, as head coach Bobby Goff tells us, and doesn't have anyone to share that ride with. That's some next level commitment from one of the more experienced and accomplished players in the division.
Absolutely, and I think that Schwa is certainly a team that is working to add in players again to really feel that chemistry across the line. Scandal has a lot of players that are known to each other. They've been really working on building chemistry this season, and I think it's going to come down to who can make those intangibles happen.
Allie Steinfeld on the pull for Portland Schwa. Lizzie Laurie fields it. Gets it up to Jess Sourbeer. Claire Trope coming over and playing some offense here for Scandal. Throw under pressure to Sourbeer, but that one goes off her hands.
Yeah, Schwa's D-line playing a zone on that point, really causing problems for Scandal.
Disc gets off the line to Emery Otopolik. Maddie Boyle so close to a block there for Scandal. Boyden breaking the mark. How great has she been with the disc in her hand so far? JC Jones resets to Boyden. Tajima, just inside the brick mark. And a pick called downfield, echoed and signaled by everyone else on the field.
Tension is rising on this field, Ian.
only round 2, but both of these teams understanding the importance of securing this win in Pool D. And a great break mark throw from Claudia Tajima to Ali Steinfeld. And Portland Schwa breaks for the second time in as many points, and they now lead 3-2 after giving up the first break of the game.
Oh, such precision work there in the end zone. You could see that they got it off of the line, and normally when you're in end zone, we tell, you know, like, get a dump, get the swing all the way to the other side of the field, and Tajima goes against that rhythm and fakes with her body and then slices it right back into the front corner of the end zone to Steinfeld, who was clearly looking for it and ready.
Timeout taken by Washington, D.C. Scandal. This group.
It's kind of a classic time for a timeout. That you've gone down, breaks, you definitely don't want to give away more. You're only down by 2 at this point, but like I said, it felt nervous. We could feel all sorts of energy shifting in this game.
So after Scandal broke to start, Schwa went on a 3-0 run with 2 breaks of its own. And a look here at the zony formation that we saw from the Schwa defense, and it looked like Trope had found a way to unlock that, but Sourbeer just unable to reel that one in. Yeah,
that was really great work from Schwa's coaching staff to mix up those looks. I think it's really important as a defense that you never give offense too many looks at the same thing. And right now it looks a little bit like Scandal's O-line is reeling from those changes, from the wind coming up, from different defensive looks, from maybe making mistakes that they hadn't been making last round. They are coming off of a win. They beat Pop in their previous round game, which is the 4 seed. But Scandal and
the 4
Schwa,
seed in their pool.
Correct, sorry.
Phoenix, the 4 seed in the tournament.
Pool. In the pool. There's a lot of numbers and places and teams and things, so sometimes I'm not going to say the exact perfect words, and you're just going to have to forgive me for that, Ian, because I get excited about all the things that are happening.
Well, I mean, after your performance covering Field Pass last round, you're coming for Scott Hansen's job at NFL Red Zone.
Well, I hope so. That seems like a fun job. Disc getting blown all the way there to the wall, but the observers are counting down because that disc did land, I believe, inbounds and then rolled.
Shirley Vole bringing it into play, marked by Angelica Boyden. Here's Walker on the right-handed backhand sideline. Arbacher coming back to make that grab. Sourbeer makes the one-handed grab that time, shoots deep right away, and it goes off the hands of a diving Verena Wollison. Looked like Lauren Allen wasn't the intended receiver, but Wollison was following up on the backside and just couldn't get the possession.
Yeah, really good fundamentals from the Scandal cutters there to try to bring that one in, but Schwa with another break opportunity.
Here's Boyden. We know she's thinking about shooting deep at all times, but instead this time, the shot goes up and it's reeled in by Brenna Bailey. And another one to the end zone, and oh my goodness, Becca Arbacher gets there and prevents the 3rd straight Schwa break from being converted.
Oh, that's gotta feel good to get that D there. That's an important momentum swing. If Schwa scores that like that, it feels almost insurmountable. Scandal not responding to the wind as well. Well, Schwa has really dialed in, especially their forehands on this side, that blade back into the wind.
Here's Maddie Boyle trying to throw to the 4 side, and that one goes over the head of Sourbeer. And Schwa can't connect.
Is that Boyle with a D right there in the end zone? Just a little tap on it. They are not giving up on this game. Both of these teams really play a gritty style of offense. There is no give up in these teams. Trying to throw a little bit more lasery there, but just not able to connect.
Sourbeer shooting deep, and Crystal Davis knocking it to the turf. Boyden back the other way, and I don't know if Maddie Boyle touched that. It looked like it might have fallen to the turf on its own power.
Yeah, I think they got a hand on it.
Aubrey Bishop, the Schwa receiver, trying to grab that one, and Sourbeer will pick up on the cone once again.
It's not a position I envy on that downwind sideline.
Fantastic grab there from Margaret Walker. Continuation up to Wollaston. Resets to Sourbeer. Swing over the top. Fantastic grab by Maddie Boyle. Boyle with a mid-range shot. A lot of folks crowding underneath, and that's reeled in. Lauren Allen just shy of the end zone, continuing to voll, and Scandal responds after giving up 3 in a row.
Scandal coach Jenny Fay is not here this weekend, but I am sure she is watching and yelling at her players on Scandal as they go here. I know that she's put in a lot of work as a coach this season, really working on the handler core of Scandal, bringing up the throwing skill there, and you can see the Scandal throwers really adjusting quickly. We saw them try blade, we saw them try floaty throws and all sorts of different options, and finally connecting on that side. They're learning this wind very, very quickly in that point, but I think that it's going to take more precision like this and maybe some good reads like that in that downwind space to get the advantage over Schwa in this game, who so far is really willing to run and gun.
And a special shout out and congratulations to Jenny Fay and her family after welcoming their second child, Wally, into the world on October 6th.
Very much congratulations to them. The Scandal community that they have built and been a part of is really a fun thing to watch. And I you know, this game is only separated by 1. We're very early in this game.
Here's Claire Trope, the former Brute Squad star, lasering a pull. And this gets centered up to another former Brute Squad star, Claudia Tajima. Stall count rising. Eva Pope gets it up line to
Zajon.
Morgan Zajon.
Zajon looking like she's directing traffic over there.
Here's Julia Sherwood. Had that fantastic grab earlier in this game. Marked tightly by Trope, and a great diving grab by Tajima to save possession. Hickey Bruce with a contested grab past a bidding Teresa Hackett. Here's Tajima on the right-handed backhand sideline. Up the line to Pope. Eva Pope in her first tournament with Schwa in 2022. Looking off the line, that one's hanging. Lisa Dang giving chase. Got her hand on it. No foul called, clean block.
No, that was a throwing error there, just not enough on it going in that upwind direction.
I mean, that's got to be the toughest throw on the field right now, right, Katie? Throwing
Agreed.
from this sideline over to that one.
Agreed.
Here's Michelle Carey. Looking for Dang, and you can see the wind just pushing that simple swing a little too far.
Oh, Scandal, I think that might have been their first break opportunity that they had. They moved it a little bit down the field, but not really making enough of an impact there, giving it back to Tajima.
Oh, Lisa Dang faked out on that one, and Tajima just pulling the trigger with the stall count rising. It's Julia Sherwood deep again, this time by Claire Trope. And Sherwood is just shy of the end zone. I beg your pardon. The observers say she's in. Man.
And you can see Zajon picking Sherwood up. Zajon and Sherwood, I believe, were teammates on the championship running years of Oregon Fugue. So longtime teammates playing again together, playing again that WUL Onyx team together that really bled into this Schwa team coming together this late in the season. I love watching them celebrate together, those longtime teammates. Really an excellent catch here. Tajima, absolute trust throw. That is a big gap that Trope made up there, but I think that Sherwood coming down with it, first point of contact in the end zone.
And I mean, Tajima knows who that defender is. You know, she's battled against Claire Trope in practice for years previously, and Claire with a World Games gold medal around her neck.
I think later in this game we'll see Claire make that D. I think maybe giving the Wind a little bit too much credit, creeping under, trusting that the Wind is going to get that D, and Tajima finding that pinpoint small margin area where Sherwood could get it, but Trope couldn't.
Well, talking to part of the DC coaching staff before this game, Ty Adderhold, he said, hey, look, we know how dangerous Julia Sherwood is. It's going to be really important for us to prevent her from being a strong continuation thrower, and important for us to get the right matchup on her. And he singled out Claire Trope as someone who may take that matchup. And so far early on, fantastic grab there by Lizzie Laurie. Julia Sherwood's gotten the better of both Trope and Nada Tremonti. Gorman off the line to Walker. Great continuation there. Scandal really using the width of the field. Vole continues to Laurie. Here's Lizzie Laurie with the soft inside shot. Becca Arbacher almost uncontested. And Scandal responds.
I'm so impressed with that throw by Laurie. That is a really difficult angle on that inside flick to throw when there's no wind. And then in this crosswind to get that exactly right where the receiver can get it, but the defender cannot, patiently faking the around, moving her mark, and then you can see this just comes in nice and easy for that score. That's some good work there from Lizzie Laurie.
No surprise to see her deftly manipulating the mark, and a great grab there, a great cut by Becca Arbacher. She previously captained Grit, another women's program that was in the DC scene for many seasons, and you know, as this Scandal group was looking to reform coming into 2022, the core approached her intentionally with the thought of, hey, we want to get the perspective of someone who maybe has existed outside the Scandal ecosystem, hasn't necessarily been a part of previous iterations, and has seen how we've conducted ourselves from an opponent's perspective. And I think that's a really sharp decision by the Scandal core and leadership to get that perspective and get that different leadership into its fold.
Yeah, well, talking with Coach Molly Roy beforehand, Molly Roy has been part of every Scandal season except for one. She did not play Scandal in 2019 because she was traveling, but every other Scandal year she's been a part of. This year, her first year as a coach. But bringing Scandal back together, they really did it with intentionality, and I think that is speaking to what you were talking about bringing players in from other teams and other perspectives.
Here's Greta Eisenbray. And a turnover there, and a short field here for Scandal, and look at them just trying a fast break. This is what this D-line loves to do, and another reset to Dang goes awry.
I think that D was by Trope, who immediately took off deep. Scandal is dialing it in this game. They're adjusting quickly as the wind and everything goes. They're making Schwa throw to harder, more and more difficult angles, and they're getting more break attempts. I want to see them punch one in.
Tajima was looking for Bailey there, but that inside shot a little too hot. Trope trying to find Tremonti. She adjusts. Oh, and she had it in her hands but couldn't survive the ground contact.
Really good adjustment. Noticed it was going to go over her head, changed directions, and turned on the jets.
Eisenbray picks up. Some lane poaches from the Scandal handler defenders. Eisenbray gets it up to Bailey. Bailey swinging over to Sherwood. Shot over the top. Bailey adjusting. Can she stay in bounds? Yes, she can!
What a throw from Sherwood from the far sideline, almost at the middle of the field, putting that backhand absolutely to the edge of the front cone. Bailey doing an excellent job there to toe the line. Really great field awareness. Schwa making that look easy, and it is not.
Julia Sherwood has been deadly so far this game. Officially on the score sheet, she just has a single goal and a single assist, but her presence making downfield grabs and commanding the toughest matchups and still coming down with the disc, and as we see here, continuing to open up the field with her throws. Just so important to the Schwa offense.
Very much so. I really enjoy this kind of ultimate. Sometimes when it gets windy, you can see teams starting to put looks that maybe aren't there. And I think what I respect about the way that Schwa is playing currently is they're taking shots, but they're taking shots to open places, to places where the wind is actually aiding the throw, and they're throwing the throws where it lands in bounds, which is making it possible for their players to make a play on it. And I think that that's a really smart way to play in the wind, because if you throw it out of bounds, you have no chance. You have to at least keep the disc over the field proper.
Vol centers up to Walker for this Scandal O-line, and we see a pretty intentional zone here from the Schwa defense. What are you seeing from this set, Katie?
It looks like a pretty aggressive upfront cup. There's at least 4, maybe 5 people involved there, really giving up the deep space, and a hand block.
What a block there from Aubrey Bishop, just reaching into the cookie jar and swatting that one to the turf. It's so easy for those to become strips, but perfectly timed, and a deep shot going up to Ali Steinfeld, just out of her reach. You saw her leave her feet.
Yeah, the wind took that one just beyond her fingertips, but that was a really nice look there. And then they're just gonna set this aggressive cup defense again. Bishop again on the mark. Coffin corner, as we call it sometimes.
Here's Vol, trying to throw over the top, immediately intercepted by Davis. Continues into the end zone to Talia Barth. And Portland Schwa breaks to go up 6-3 here in this second round matchup in Pool D.
I mean, that's great play. Aubrey Bishop getting a hand block there, reaching around. Such great awareness and picking the pocket essentially. And then I think that this, Crystal Davis just aware, absolutely baiting that throw. For me, that was great play, but it's really the tactical call in this direction to set a zone. They don't go zone every point, but the zone, the different look of defense absolutely got that break score for them, because they forced Scandal into bad options, and then they held the disc. They got trapped on their own sideline, on their own end zone corner, and I think that that's a really good move by Schwa's coaching staff. It's really hard to combat against that, especially if you're not prepared for a zone every point. I think Scandal's O-line got caught looking there for a second. Or maybe they got a little scared. They had a moment where they're like, oh no, the cup.
I mean, I feel like that's got to be the go-to defensive play call now that we know what these conditions are, right? Like, get your pull to pin the opposing offense on the downwind sideline and set a trap cup from there.
Maybe, but sometimes if you know it's coming, you can get moving faster, you can really attack the other side, you can punt it deep, and you don't get the same advantage. So now we see Schwa in his own, but a totally different look.
So what's different about this look compared to what we were seeing last point?
So in this point, you can see there's 3 players up front who are all kind of poaching in the lane, those big widespread arms, trying to prevent any throws upfield. The previous round, we saw them kind of wrap around, trying to ensnare the throwers a little bit. And this one's just blocking them, making them throw a lot of throws back and forth, not necessarily taking the backwards throw away, but not giving them any options up towards the middle of the field. So if you look upfield, I think there's also 3 players in the middle. So if you might play a 3-3-1 out of frame, maybe in the very edge of your frame, you can see the deep defender finally getting it past, and now Scandal's off to the races.
Here's Sour Beer. Gets it over to Vol. Scandal working against this Schwa defense. Maddie Boyle toes the line, stays in bounds.
Yeah, Schwa's now shifted to a person defense there, guarding each person individually now. Really good transition defense from them.
Contested grab by Lori. Back to Vol. Lori off the line. Looking to continue. Sour Beer fakes one way, comes back the other, continues into the end zone, and Vol makes the layout grab. And Scandal is back within 2.
Yeah, and that was a much more poised Scandal O-line that we saw that point. They were very patient. They kept moving, kept resetting that stall count to get a fresh 10 seconds. And once they got it past that what I'm going to call a wall or that up front three. They made big gains through the middle of the field, forcing Schwa to change their defense. And once we saw that defensive come, then they got into their end zone set and were very calm and collected in that, not taking that downwind forehand shot, but really fighting for this backhand side to get that open space there for the score. Way to be sure on the layout there. Great focus all the way through that catch. Like we said, none of the catches are gimmies here in this wind.
Second goal of the game for Shirley Vole. Her first one assisted by Lauren Allen. That last one coming from Jess Sourbeer. Portland Schwa with a 6-4 advantage. They've racked 3 breaks so far here in this first half. Scandal just 1 on the first point of the game. And
I wonder if they try to pin them here and throw a zone of their own against Schwa. I don't think we've seen really a true zone look from Scandal yet, but they got to try it at some point in this wind. Try something different. Great pull.
Here's Nikki Ross on the pull. Pope up to Eisenbray. Eisenbray faking. Not a lot of support in the area, but Pope gets one of those dangerous up lines and pulls the trigger. This one's hanging. Will it come down in bounds? No. A little too much inside out on that one, and the wind just pushing it out that right-handed flick sideline.
And I honestly think that is what Scandal's defense was designed to do. They know that Schwa liked to put it deep, and they had a specific poach scheme to make that really the only viable option.
Ross off the line, completes it. Ross gets it back over to Olivia Arellano. Here's Jackie Wang. Swings over to Allie Wallace. Wallace. Fantastic grab by Wang. Tremonti. Now on the right-handed backhand sideline. Attacking in this direction. Off the line to Wallace. Tremonti gives and goes, gets it right back. Continues up to Arellano. Arellano with the deep shot, and oh, Sophia Hulbert had steps, but just a little too much zip on that look.
I honestly think that flick throw to that far end zone corner is probably one of the more difficult throws in Ultimate. You have to get the angle of the disc exactly right, the weight of the disc exactly right in order to even have a chance at it. Scandal doing a really good job of using the break side and then just trying to throw an away pass at the end, giving up all that good work, and now Schwa trying to get this score. I think it's an offensive possession for them, though.
This is an 0 point for Schwa. Pope gets it up to Bruce. Eisenbray fights for the up line, marked tightly by Tremonti. Tremonti not contesting the foul there. Eisenbray going to take a second to
they're discussing, so we'll
get back up.
Disc is staying here. Just an uncontested foul.
Yeah,
right, coming in on one.
Helping us with that one.
Eisenbray on the right-handed flick sideline. Pope fighting for the upline, bodied well by Wang, and the reset, looking for Runzo, goes over her head. Here's Nikki Ross in the red zone now. Tries to lead Allie Wallace to space, but just not on the same page there. Another break opportunity wasted by DC Scandal.
Yeah. I think that they had it that's right there on the end zone line, and they've been doing such a good job of grinding on those undercuts, continuing to go over and over again, and then just at that last moment throwing away passes in the end zone. It's such an easy trap to fall into, but I think fighting for that under is really what this D-line's going to have to do. I mean, they're going to have to get another D first, but I think that those ones that if they watch this tape back is something that they're going to look at thinking, okay, well, we really need to not throw the away passes.
Eisenbray shooting deep. Kimber Coles turns on the Jets, but Hannah Boone had position the whole way. She earns the block for DC Scandal.
And about a foot.
No question about that.
Coles is a very good deep receiver, but in that point, that win, that's an extraordinarily difficult reception. Possible, difficult.
Tremonti to Wang. Continues. Here's Holbert. Up to Ariano. Inside shot to Wang. Up to Boone. Scandal very quickly in the red zone once again. Boone trying to get it off the line, looking for Nikki Ross, makes the contested grab. She thought about the hammer for a second.
So we're seeing them in this end zone set again. Can they fight for it?
Wallace to Boone. She is not in, says the observer. Boone on the doorstep. Resets to Wang. The dump and swing to Ross. Continues to Hulbert, and this time Hulbert makes the grab. And Scandal breaks to make it a 1-goal game.
That is such a confidence boost for Scandal. They had 3 shots at it, and that third time they finally kept working all the way through their end zone set and finally made that undercut for the final score. I hope Jenny Faye is at home very proud of her players for making adjustments in that. This is again a look at that D that made them work from one end zone all the way to the other to get that break.
This is textbook red zone offense here, just getting the disc off the line, dumping and swinging, and those windows opening up on the break side.
Yeah, the coach in me is also very proud of them for catching with 2 hands all of those possessions, especially in the wind. If you miss with one, at least the other one is right there to help you out. And it looks like we might have a bit of a timeout here. I mean, it certainly felt like a big momentum swing. You have timeouts to take. You may as well use them. Both of these coaching staffs really doing a good job of managing their players and this game, playing different offenses and defenses. We hoped that this was going to be a close game, and it's turning out to be that way.
Breakmark is on a mission to give away free reversibles this year. They're about to hit 1,000 and are targeting 2,500 next. Help them achieve their goal and earn chances for fabulous prizes with each goal met. Find out how you can get yours at breakmark.com. So 6-5 here in the first half between Schwa and Scandal. The second round of action in Women's Pool D, and here's where everything stands after round 1. No real surprises in the first round in the women's division, Katie.
Not yet, but we have seen some really, really good action, things kind of going to seed, but I think as we go later in this game, especially this round with the wind picking up, I'm hoping to see some upsets. Upset City, let's go.
I'm sure you'll be able to keep your eyes on some of those brewing upsets on Field Pass if you don't have that up in another tab or another monitor or another device. We'll have extra coverage of 4 games at once every single round here on day 1 of the club championships. That's for Ultiworld Plus subscribers. As DC Scandal pulls to resume this game after the Schwa timeout. Here's Tajima. Kimber Coles coming out of the side stack. Tajima can't get the disc to her, but Morgan Caldwell is there. Here's Allie Steinfeld. Over to Coles. Great matchup there between Coles and Tremonti. 2 speedy downfield threats. Here's Caldwell. Over to Sherwood. She's had her fingerprints all over the first half of this Schwa attack. Tajima faking. And we do have a stoppage. We'll listen into Mitch Dengler.
Okay. So you want to roll?
Yeah.
Observer rolling, we're up, and it's going to be that player's disc, because that stops play. Where you were at the contested catch. Stall 1.
Unclear what was contested about that. Maybe a up down call? Either way, they seem to be figuring it out pretty fast. I do like that Scandal is doing a backhand force here. They're forcing towards the downwind side because Schwa has been pretty deadly with their flicks, and so they're forcing them to do something different.
Allie Wallace on the mark there for Scandal, and Tajima gives and gets it right back. Off the line to Pope. You saw Pope shimmying, trying to get that flick off, unable to do so. Tajima with a low swing. It was catchable, but just too much heat, too low for Morgan Caldwell. Lisa Dang picks up right away. Wallace shooting to the end zone. Sandy Jorgensen is all alone, and Scandal breaks and ties this game at 6.
I really like that backhand force from Scandal because they're pushing it incrementally slowly towards this downwind sideline. And once you get here, then you have to break upwind with that flick, and that just got out of the hands of the handler, which caused a missed throw. And then Jorgensen, I don't know how she got open so deep, but that deep open look really working to Scandal's favor in that fast break offense. 2 in a row now for Scandal to bring it back. Schwa looks a little defeated. Not actually defeated, but maybe like the air has gone out of their sails, even though it's so windy.
Well, not to use too many sports cliches here in our broadcast, but this has truly been a game of runs. After Scandal broke to go up 1-0, Schwa rallied off 3 in a row to go up 3-1. And then after Schwa was up 6-3, Scandal has rallied off 3 in a row to tie this game up at 6.
Yeah, I mean, in doing preparation for this game, watching footage on both of these teams, this was a game that I was excited to watch because they'd never played each other, or they haven't, especially as these iterations of these teams. Maybe 2019, 2018 was the last time that these teams played, and very few of the rosters look exactly as they did. But these teams are so gritty. They will fight all the way to the end of this game. There's no give up in either of these teams, and that's the kind of game I like to watch, to be a spectator for, is when they go. I hope we see more defensive looks. We're definitely going to see some more big plays here as we get back into motion.
Trope intentionally rolling the pull out of this sideline. Eisenbray looking to get the disc off the line, but Claire Trope just motoring through that backfield space with the run through block on the swing attempt.
It does look like there's an injury that is going to stop play.
That's Brenna Bailey, who's down on the field for Portland Schwa.
Trope is absolutely the difference maker in that point, with the pull that went out of the sideline and the run through D being really aware of that space, knowing that that was the only outlet that handler could take, and then taking off deep, taking the entire momentum of the offense in that direction. I don't know exactly when the injury occurred, or if the disc will come back, or if it will stay there in Trope's possession. But that was the run through D play, and you can see just taking off immediately.
So Bailey getting up and walking off under her own power, which is a great sight to see.
Absolutely.
And it looks like Natalie Hancock is the player who will take her place on the field now as Schwa tries to defend after starting this point on 0. Here's Laurel Oldershaw, inside shot to Trope. Trope fakes the offhand backhand, the soft inside, and oh my goodness, Jackie Wang is all alone. It's a 4-0 run for Scandal, and they lead now 7-6. This is Scandal's first lead since 1-0.
That is a big momentum shift there, really led by that defensive effort by Trope, but really the patience of that. That's just good fundamentals. When you get a D there and then Oldershaw to Trope here on the end zone line, it's this patience. I think that this is where I've seen Trope grow most in her game since her college days. It's the poise on the end zone, looking calm and collected as a thrower. I think sometimes I had a coach tell me, you don't have to be calm, but you have to look calm, so that the rest of your team knows that they trust you with the disc and give you good cuts. And I think that lack of panic in Claire Trope's eyes really led to that score.
Second assist of the game for Claire Trope, playing in her first season with DC Scandal.
All right, deep breath. Deep breath for Schwa, deep breath for Scandal, right? This game has gone back and forth, but I think we've seen Schwa be down before. They have been down to teams and then come back to win it on Universe. This is certainly not a team that's going to go to sleep, but I think that they would rather not have to dig out of a hole late in the game, especially when you're at Nationals where you have more big games coming up.
Here's Schwa back out on offense. Angelica Boyden up to Hancock.
Scandal again in that backhand force, trying to trap them on this near sideline.
Boyden off the line to Hancock. Still can't get it all the way around. And now Boyden does. Continue over to Steinfeld. Steinfeld throwing through the mark. Intercepted by Trope. No foul call on the throw. And DC Scandal has a chance to break for half. Wang up to Oldershaw. Trope streaking deep. The throw goes up. Can Trope stay in bounds? Yes, she can! And Scandal, after trailing 3-1, takes half against Schwa, 8-6, here in the second round of action in Women's Pool D.
Yeah, and I also have to give a shout out there to Laurel Oldershaw, coming back from a very bad knee injury and really making an impact in this game, turning on undercuts, and then really with poise putting very lasery flicks out into places where people can catch them. Really good work from the entire Scandal squad to come back from the beginning momentum of that game, and now they are up as we head into halftime.
So Claire Trope with 2 assists and 1 goal here in the first half. This was the opening break. She caught the deep shot on the goal line and continued there to Sandy Jorgensen. And this was the previous point on the goal line, continuing to Wang. And right here, the break for half. A wonderful deep shot from Oldershaw. Trope reels it in, and Scandal on top, 8-6.
The last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change
around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young
and still a perfect circle
Of fair play,
athletic pursuit,
and camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network
before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias
And understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we
pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Welcome back to the Surf Cup Sports Park in Del Mar, California. Washington, D.C. Scandal, the overall 5 seed in the women's division, leading Portland Schwa, the overall 9 seed, 8-6. Katie, we got all the stats we want in front of us. What's jumping out to you?
I mean, neither team has a lot of clean holds. There's been more turnovers in this game, but Scandal towards the end of that really converting on their break chances. five points in the last, at the end of that half to bring it up. That was, for me, the difference, is that momentum shift that Scandal finally got their momentum underneath them.
We talked about this one being a game of runs. Scandal rallying off 3 breaks. Beg your pardon, Schwa rallying off 2 breaks in the first 4 points, and then Scandal with 4 straight breaks after a hold to take half here, 8-6. When we come back, Andrea DeSabato will be on the sidelines talking with Portland Schwa head coach Bobby Goff.
What would it look like if a competitive sport didn't mean a choice? Between beauty and brutality, style and steel. Between calling yourself out and clawing to stay in. What if there was a game that found balance? Between spirit and sport, agony and elation, like a disc dancing on air.
We now have evolved into a team sport of a game called Ultimate.
It stands by itself in that it is like no other game.
Between perfect passes and devastating drops. Like the balance we so desperately needed, we had no choice but to create it ourselves. Long live grit and grace. Long live Ultimate.
Coach of Schwa, Bobby Goff. So I know the momentum shifted there at the end. What do you think led to that?
Well, we know that Scandal has a bunch of playmakers over there on that side of the field. It's kind of a matter of time until they just found something that worked for them. You know, playing in the wind is a game of runs, so we got pushed back a little bit. It's time to just get back on our feet and start pushing back.
I saw you tried a little bit of zone. Was that based on the wind, or was that part of the game plan from the start?
We've had zone plans all year, and when you know we're coming to San Diego at the end, you kind of lean into the fact, or the hope that the wind's coming. We didn't know when it would come, but it's here, so we were ready to try some stuff. It's been effective. We'll probably keep doing it.
Yeah, it's been working. And I'm surprised Scandal hasn't done any.
Yeah.
I know that when we spoke before the tournament, you mentioned this is the first time the whole team is here.
Yeah.
You've had some injuries, you had people that moved away. How has that been so far in this early game, and what has it been like?
It's been a little quirky. It has led to some really great things happening. It's also led to some low lows. It's just a lot of us figuring out how to be the best version of this team that we are today, together.
Sweet, thanks, appreciate it. Back to you all.
Thanks so much. That was Andrea DeSabato talking with Portland Schwa head coach Bobby Goff. And folks, the setting here for the club championships at the Surf Cup Sports Park just never gets old. The beautiful hills of Del Mar, California, just off the San Diego coast.
Yeah, maybe almost the same view as you get at the F1 race in Monaco.
Oh man, don't even try and compare those. We've got Scandal starting out on offense in the black jerseys, attacking from left to right across your screen. Here's Gorman getting it off the line to Walker. Vol, contested grab there by Ritzman. Lizzie Laurie with some deft cutting, and goodness there, a flipped pancake from Verena Wollison. She had that one in her hands.
Schwa was contesting every single catch there, and I think that combined pressure is what led to that turn.
Angelica Boyden, who had a number of successful deep flicks in the first half, now pulls the trigger on a backhand. A dog pile coming underneath, a lot of contact, and Crystal Davis makes the grab, but I believe DC Scandal's Casey Gorman is making a foul call. Let's listen into this conversation.
That's all I'm just gonna add to that. Okay, I don't remember feeling anything. Oh, okay.
kind of came fast, but they could have been me. I don't know.
Yeah. I was getting out of the way. I was just
Is there agreement about, you're saying you stepped on, or she stepped on you?
It's not the stepping on. I got hit in the back.
You got hit in the back
So
is what you're calling.
play.
Okay.
Like I couldn't jump because I got pushed.
Okay. Any, do we have agreement?
I don't think it was on either because I was in front of you, so it doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, but am I the one to contest that? Yeah. I contest because I don't think I.
Okay. Okay. Our ruling is that it was a foul, so it's going to stay here with the with this player here because she was pushed in the back. Yes. Yes. But because it was a receiving foul, you get awarded possession, so you have to take it. Yes. It is a receiving foul, so yes. So Scandal, you will take the disc right here. You have to take possession. Right. I know it's still a receiving foul. Yes. So you take possession because of that.
So thanks to our crew for making it possible to listen into that conversation. I'm not going to lie, we got the benefit of multiple angles of slow-mo replays. Katie, I don't know how you felt, but it looked like it was Gorman's own teammate who made the contact into her back that she called the foul.
I agree. It was a bit of a pileup. It was a bit unclear, and I think that I'm also a little bit unclear on what the ruling was and why that went to that player. But you know what? That's what they decided, and I'm just going to move on with it because I can't.
If nothing else, clear communication there from the observers, which we very much appreciate. And Scandal has the disc here. Arbacher and Walker. Another stoppage, I believe players signaling for a downfield pick.
I agree, and I think that Schwa has gotten a chance to settle in. They're playing very tight person defense here, trying to really stop all of the options and creating another turnover.
Low throw off the hands of Lizzie Laurie, and Brenna Bailey picks up and gets it over to Angelica Boyden. Inside shot off the hands of Crystal Davis, but it looks like a call might have preceded Boyden's throw.
Yeah, there was an upfield call there between the players on your screen.
I'm trying. It depends on the contest here.
like on a 3-clear line, like moving forward, so I can't even test that. Okay,
So we're gonna stay contest. Where was your count? You said foul.
No idea.
Okay, the foul was probably 2 seconds, I'd say, before. Okay. So let's come in saying stalling 4.
Okay.
Mitch Stangler clearing that one up. Disc stays with Angelica Boyden. Bailey marked closely by Ritzman. Back to Boyden. Hancock up to Crystal Davis. Davis in the red zone now. Back to Hancock. Swing pressured by Vole. Backhand around, looking for Crystal Davis, but too much juice on that one. Lizzie Laurie walking it up to the front cone. Ritzman with the first underneath. Off the line in the swing, just going right into the teeth of that wind and hitting the turf. Boyden with a short field for Schwa. Another pick call. Tell you what, feels like this game is really just slowing down and getting clogged downfield, Katie.
I think coming at a half, both teams seem to have said, we're really going to work on our defensive intensity, and that has led to very highly contested catches, lots of space, really trying to attack different spaces because a lot of things are shut down, and that's, I think, what's slowing things down with the picks and the contact fouls of field is just like defensive intensity.
Boyden over the stack to Crystal Davis. What a visionary throw there. Unfazed by the wind, and Portland Schwa scores the first point of the second half. It's now 8-7 with DC in the lead.
Oh, it was an important point for Schwa to score, though. Coming out of half, they finally wanted to do it. I think that this backhand force is actually working really well for Scandal, but it took so much effort for them to break it, really selling this cut to move the mark and then having to put up over the top into the wind.
Yeah, that's not
Recommend
an easy throw.
that direction is an upwind throw that Boyden just put there, which is really difficult. So this game, right? We've seen some trades back and forth. We've seen many things. It's happen. You can feel the tension on the sideline. Both of these teams really want this game. This could be a really big changer in the pool if Schwa can pull off this upset. And I think that it is really important for them to get that. They've put on a very strong D-line with Steinfeld and
Trope. Looking deep and just out of the hands. Too far for Lauren Allen, who had steps of separation, and Eva Pope picks up for Schwa. And just an execution there from Allie Steinfeld, winding up for the flick, and the disc just falling out of her hands. Here's Trope breaking the mark in the red zone, and Lauren Allen has that one. DC Scandal up by 2 once again.
That was such a missed opportunity there, I think, from Scandal. I think Steinfeld will certainly want that one back. Just maybe getting caught in the edge of her glove or the wind affecting the throw a little bit, maybe thinking about the throw too much. I think every player out there has had one of those little fumble moments. This one coming, unfortunately, at a time for Schwa when they had a big D-line on, really trying to get some momentum back in this game, just not able to get a second defensive effort there as they try to go down the field. You could feel it, and then that flub disc just fluttering to the ground. They're just not able to do it. That's going to be one that Seinfeld and Schwa definitely want back, because they were looking poised to go the other direction. Scandal, to their credit, took that and punched it back in right there on the end zone line. Jones laying out for that possession, but not quite able to get the D there. Really great defensive mark there by Jones. And we're going to come into another point here. Scandal maintains up by 2.
Hickey Ross on the pull for DC. And Greta Eisenbray fielding this and sending it up to Claudia Tajima. Here's Sherwood. Resets to Tajima. Over to Kimber Coles.
Everybody else on the sideline, it's just like they've decided to play with those 3 in space.
And you could see so much of the rest of the Schwa offense just keeping its side stack tight to this near downwind sideline, and everyone else just playing a 3-person game with Tajima, Sherwood, and Coles.
That's a fun game. I like watching this.
Doing everything they can to keep the disc over to that sideline and away from the downwind sideline. Masterfully executed point there from Tajima, Coles, and Sherwood.
That was so fun to watch. That was such an interesting call. They've played into Scandal's forced backhand for most of this game, and so they decided, fine, you're going to force us there. We're just going to stand on that line and play 3v3 on the other side of the field and literally march it all the way up the field with those 3 games. So any player that's out there saying, why do we play 3-on-3? Why do you make us play these stupid games, coach? Well, that's why right there, because sometimes things happen in windy games and you got to take over with those 3 players. Scandal looks stunned. They look stunned after that point. Claire Trope looked up being like, what just happened?
And I would think the DC coaching staff will make some adjustments going into the next point. If they see that look again, some of those side stack defenders that were a little idle here on this near side might start roaming a little bit over to try and muck up that space.
I mean, and Scandal several times has run a defensive poach scheme off of the pole, and I don't think they ever really got out of that poach scheme, and it played into into Schwa's hands there. That was fun to watch. I'm jazzed by that. I am jazzed by that, Ian. I don't know why those simple things sometimes make me, but that was like a clean offensive hold for Schwa in the win. They did another defensive play on it. They're really getting another chance.
And Boyden intentionally rolling another pull out of bounds.
Oh, starting on this downwind line is so rough sometimes.
Walker starting with the disc for the Scandal offense. Off the line to Sour Beer. Sour Beer at Scandal's brick mark. Arbacher gets the underneath. Continues to Vol. Over to Walker.
It honestly looks like Schwa is forcing middle. They've switched the force, making them change it in the wind is there, but Scandal doesn't seem fazed by that at the moment.
Sour Beer to Allen, and that throw to Vol just behind her path. And Angelica Boyden has the disc in her hands on her own goal line and a chance to break to tie this game. Deep shot goes up right away to Bailey. Bailey gets the better read at first, but a great adjustment there by Lauren Allen. And it looks like Bailey
is signaling an injury coming off, but maybe landed a little bit awkwardly in that particular come down.
Her teammate Aubrey Bishop helping her off the field and then taking her spot on the field. And this Scandal O-line of sorts will get the disc back on the attacking half of midfield.
Yeah, setting up in another scheme there. Bishop is immediately on the mark. We saw her get a hand block earlier in this game.
Disc goes up, Trope makes the grab in traffic. The observer does not issue a ruling right away.
Okay, great. I was just waiting
Oh,
for
yeah.
the call.
Yep, and you're fine to do that.
No, well.
Because they were playing.
Yeah. It can come in on 2.
Yeah, we know it's not in.
Okay, we're gonna come in on 2.
Okay.
Because that's let's come in on 1. I think that's the. No, I just think play stopped at the not having the resolution right when she caught it, so we're gonna come in 1.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's yeah.
Mitch Dangler and company determining that Claire Trope was not in and that play should have stopped right away, and Claire Trope throws the goal immediately to Verena Wollison.
Exactly, but Scandal is really good at that inside throwing, that flick inside lane, hitting that mark on the end zone line. It's so difficult to stop as an upfield defender because, you know, technically you have to be on the open side. Usually you've just stopped an undercut and they're coming back across, and it's really just a dagger to the heart sometimes of the defense. Scandal doing a good job there to calmly take a possession of that offense after we go, and there's a score.
So Claire Trope has been all over the field for DC Scandal, throwing the assist on the first break of the game, getting important blocks late in the first half, throwing assists late in the first half as part of that 4-break run to help take half. That's the goal that Scandal took half with. And then here in the second half, Trope has both of DC Scandal's 2 assists as the overall 5 seed leads 10-8 here in the second round of Pool D women's action.
Yeah, trading points here as in the second half. We've seen a lot of back and forth. It feels like a momentum shift is needed.
Trope with the pull, and Morgan Zajon trying to stop the roll, but it looks like there was a kick that was a little advantageous.
I do not think that Zajon could do that again if she tried. That was a stop the pull. I don't even think I would call it a kick necessarily, but it definitely caught the wind and flew a little bit, moving the disc back to the first point of contact in a bid for fairness.
Tajima swings over to Runzo. Pope pumps and resets to Runzo. Runzo breaks the mark. Here's Julia Sherwood. The inside shot hanging just a little bit, and Sophia Holberg boxing out well. But it looks like Morgan Zajon is calling a foul on that one. And I beg your pardon? Was that foul retracted or?
Unclear. I think we're gonna get maybe another look at it.
So here's the throw.
Retracted call, okay.
And
10 seconds.
Great sportsmanship there from Morgan Zajon. I think that's the right call. The throw was over her head, uncatchable, as Claire Trope shoots deep right away. Sandy Jorgensen turning on the Jets, but the wind pushing that disc too far to this near sideline. And Portland Schwa's Claudia Tajima will have to run back and pick this one up and bring it up to the Schwa goal line.
It is quite a ways back there. The stall count can start, so if it goes out the back of the end zone, they do have 20 seconds, which is why you see a little bit of hustle there from Tajima.
Allie Wallace blows up the give and go, and Scandal has a short field. Disc goes off the hands of Dang. Schwa gets it back. Danny Runzo toes the line. Off the line to Pope, and the swing goes off to Tajima. That's the key throw there. Tajima inside looking for Zajon, not on the same page, a bit too far. Nada Tremonti picks up. Inside to Dang. Dang in the red zone now. Off the line to Tremonti. Trope. Looking to the end zone. This time, Sandy Jorgensen has that one, and Claire Trope has assisted on every goal in this second half for Scandal.
Yeah, taking over there, and that is a big move, a break for Scandal. We said it was time for a bit of a momentum shift, and I think that that's exactly what Scandal wanted to do. They were looking to the end zone very aggressively from the beginning of that point. They were moving it really quickly, and I think that Jorgensen was maybe even called as that deep look. I mean, it's a good bet in the end zone to have Jorgensen there, and Schwa taking, at least I think it's Schwa, taking a timeout to try to regroup after that break.
Third goal of the game for Sandy Jorgensen, the World Games veteran and two-time national champion. Can't forget that Scandal won back-to-back national championships in 2013 and 2014, the first time the club championships were in Frisco, Texas. And Breakmarks bundles are the best way to get a full, affordable Ultimate kit for your team. Get a dark, light shorts and a free reversible, and get entered to win free team prizes. Everything your team needs to play good and look great. Get your order started at breakmark.com. DC Scandal with a 3-2 advantage in the second half and an 11-8 advantage here in the game. More second half action coming up after the break. Washington, D.C. Scandal with an 11-8 lead on Portland Schwa. The 5 versus 9 matchup here in Pool D. The second round of pool play on day 1 at the 2022 USA Ultimate Club Championships here in Del Mar, California. Ian Toner alongside Katie Killebrew, Andrea DeSabato on the sidelines. Katie, we've seen this game swing back and forth a bunch, but it's been Scandal who's had the stronger punches and greater volume of runs so far.
Yeah, and they're seeded higher in this tournament. Some people had questions about whether that was deserved, whether their runs were or their results in the regular season were earned, and they're looking to continue that momentum in this game.
Teresa Hackett with the heads-up hand block on Aubrey Bishop's inside look. And we've got another hospital pass of sorts, but Hannah Boone gets the best read there. This goes around a Trope. She's been on fire, especially in this second half. Inside to Wang. Unmarked shot goes up. A Wolfpack is there, and Allie Steinfeld skies the pile, but Claire Trope did call a foul in the backfield.
And I think that foul may have occurred before the throw, and then there's also fouls happening on the reception, but it will
way because they're saying that affected the play. And an injury called. Thank you. White's taking a sub. Darky can take one as well if you would like.
Good. Hand signals really helping us out here. The foul on Trope happened. There's a sub upfield. It looks like Tajima is coming on for Schwa.
That's Natalie Hancock going off for Schwa, and I believe your initial interpretation was correct there, Katie. And Scandal getting the opportunity to substitute as well, and Jess Sourbeer will come on in place of Olivia Ariano. So Jackie Wang will have the disc at the edge of the red zone. Stall count rising, looking for her to reset, and that one knocked away by Allie Steinfeld.
She had something to prove after that previous one that she caught in the pile. That one going out of bounds over their head in the wind.
Boyden trying to shoot deep right away, but neither Caldwell nor Steinfeld could catch that one, and Sourbeer has the disc on the Scandal goal line. Playing catch with Wang. Still no yards gained. Dangerous game with lots of throws there, but Sourbeer pulls the trigger. Teresa Hackett had a step, but the wind just pushing the underside of that disc a little too far here to this near sideline. And Boyden picks up and shoots deep right away. Bishop versus Hackett. Bishop with the better read. And Bishop's in the red zone now.
No mark yet.
Resets to Tajima. Tajima hammers over the top, looking for Steinfeld.
Wind, wow,
pressured
what
by
a
Claire
choice.
Trope, and a lot of contact there. Let's listen into Mitch Dangler.
Yeah, I just felt like there was contact that kept me from keeping an eye on the disc and being able to make that play. It was coming over you, I thought, and there was contact and I couldn't.
I think the contact should happen on the way down.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but it still kept me from making that play. The disc was coming in and coming down at that point.
Okay, I think I'm going to test because I think I had already made the play, and I think that's...
Okay, do we want to send it back or do you want to roll it?
Let's send it back.
Send it back.
So, cordial discussion there between Steinfeld and Trope as we get yet another look at this one. Katie, you got a definitive thought there? I don't blame you if you don't.
I don't have a definitive thought, and in this case, I think sending it back is probably the move that I would take. I think that sometimes do-overs are necessary.
So Claudia Tajima with the disc once again, and that one hits the turf. And DC Scandal will have the disc once again. Wang and Sourbeer trying to navigate, and this one goes into the hands of Trope. As we have a travel, was it a travel call that
I saw Claudia Tajima making a travel hand signal away from the disc.
Back there. You're going to check it in here, and you can't stall until she gets back there.
Okay.
Because it's immediately following the turnover.
So Wang walks it back, gets us in play. Sour Beer gets the first underneath. Breaks the mark to Trope. Trope pulls the trigger right away. Wang versus Caldwell. Caldwell with the great pressure. Wang unable to make the catch, and Liv Monroe was in the area as well, but she couldn't get there.
Yeah,
Here's Tajima swinging to Crystal Davis.
I would also like to say that the wind has picked up some. Before, people were able kind of to hold umbrellas, and the tents seemed fairly secure, and now we have tents blowing
deep
away.
To Steinfeld. Steinfeld just can't follow the path of that one, as we saw.
Yeah, tents blowing away, umbrellas going upside down, discs just getting blown further off course than they were earlier in this game, and haven't been able to make the adjustments to not take those deep looks yet.
Nice inside shot from Sour Beer to Wang. Wang trying to break the mark, and Allie Steinfeld looked like she made the block cleanly, but we're going to have a discussion here. I believe there was a foul call by Jess Sour Beer, and let's see if we can listen in here.
This is a foul, no contest. Coming out one.
A good quick resolution there.
Steinfeld taps the disc back in play. Sour Beer looking for Trope. Trope with a nice inside shot, and Aubrey Bishop blocked it at first, but Teresa Hackett caught the Mac.
I don't know how she caught that. That was amazing.
The Virginia Hydra product showing her receiving chops, and Oldershaw intended for that to be an underneath throw to Trope, but Trope adjusting to the high throw and reeling it in the end zone. And once again, Claire Trope involved now in every score for Scandal in the second half. That's 3 assists and 1 goal for DC.
Okay, great, very great. But can we just talk about that catch? That was an absolutely amazing D, and caught it as they're rolling to the ground. Again, this is an effort to pin it on the leg there. It looked so amazing, and then we have this throw here from Oldershaw again that Trope read very, very well in that windy situation. Maybe gone over the head of some other receivers, but Scandal doing a good job to reel that in, making the score happen.
So this game was 8-6 Scandal at half. Schwa held to make it 8-7. There's a little bit of trading. And then Scandal has gone on a 3-0 run to have this, dare I say, commanding 12-8 lead late in the second half here of this second round of pool play action. Katie, what does Schwa have to do to mount some kind of comeback?
They have to score, and they have to score very quickly.
Sure.
Because there is very little time between now and when that soft cap horn is gonna blow, and they won't have time or ability to come back unless they score very quickly in this possession.
Nikki Ross on the pull for DC Scandal. Great use of the wind there. Just adding some extra oomph to that backhand. And Schwa centers to Eisenbray.
Scandal in maybe a 3-3-1 kind of a poach scheme look, or some people call it junk zone.
Nikki Ross was just kind of hanging out all alone in that deep space, and now dials into the matchup with Egan. Sherwood had a great first half, but we haven't heard a ton from her in the second. Looking deep, had 2 receivers going, but just a little too much juice.
Yeah, that
on
force
that one.
flick sideline, it's a downwind. Again, the crosswind is coming from the far side of your screen towards us, where your perspective is from, and that flick is just getting blown all the way across the field when people have tried it.
Hulbert near the flick sideline. Off the line to Tremonti. Here's Nikki Ross. Over to Hannah Boone.
It's a very impressive throw upwind there to keep possession.
Ross. What a read there by Wang to box out and Hulbert to make the grab. And Wang just looking for that high release backhand break to Tremonti, but the wind not allowing that one to be completed.
No, and we said that, you know, Schwa would have to get a quick score and then they'd have to score breaks.
Sherwood shooting deep for Kimber Coles. She's got Sophia Hulbert giving chase. Coles makes the grab. Coles in the red zone now. Resets to Sherwood. Here's Eisenbray at the attacking brick mark. Eva Pope thought she was going to continue to Danny Runzo, but looks like Allie Wallace called a pick, and that's why Runzo had so much separation there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although I think it's actually to Runzo's advantage to play by the rule in this case, which is go back to where the pick occurred so that she had more space to run into.
It's a great call. Eisenbray with the buttery inside backhand into the wind. Connects with Sherwood. And some signs of life here from Schwa late in the second half.
Yeah, an attempt at a hat kick celebration got a little bit awry because the wind blew the hat out of the way. But Schwa holding there, but maybe taking a little bit more time than they would have liked. They have a chance here if they can get a big break, especially a quick break. I wouldn't be surprised, given the variety we've seen from this coaching squad, to see them actually try something really aggressive against Scandal here.
How about that grab by Kimber Coles?
She's good for at least one of those catches a game. Just the focus as the disc comes in, regardless of what's happening around her, to really make that catch. And a great throw from Julia Sherwood to Kimber Coles. Again, longtime teammates making that connection. And I like that Sherwood was also the first receiver there. Kimber Coles was like, no, nobody else. I'll just throw it back to Julia. As Sherwood rushed all the way down the field. So what do you think? You think we're going to see an aggressive defensive look here from Schwa to try to make it in by the end of the game?
Yeah, the challenge is just time is not on Schwa's side. Need to force a turn quickly. I'd imagine something like a force out, a flat mark with force out, just daring Scandal to.
Yeah, and you may have heard it in the background. The soft cap horn did just go off.
Here's Vol. Marked by Boyd. Lizzie Laurie. Gets it up to Ritzman. Ritzman inside. Great grab by Wolleson. Resets to Vol. Scandal so far content to play ball on this half of the field, the downwind side of the field. Lizzie Laurie shooting deep. Adjustment there by Wolleson. Knocking on the doorstep. Here's Walker. Walker breaking the mark, and Wolleson is there. The first goal of the second half where Claire Trope wasn't involved for Scandal.
I don't think that Trope was even on that point. I think that I really, maybe she was. I wasn't looking at that. I was really marveling at how much we've seen Scandal grow in this game. They have done a really good job of adjusting to the wind. So many of these patient resets going back upwind side, and they really have made big strides in their handler squad in moving the disc, trusting each other. And when they get that lapse in defensive, that moment that the mark is not on that side, they're really willing to attack that upwind side and catch the upfield defenders looking. So I think that they've done a really good job of adjusting in this game.
So Scandal up 13-9, as you mentioned during that point. The soft cap went off. So we get one more look, that fantastic break mark throw from Walker. That's not easy to do into this wind, Katie.
No, it is not. It is not easy to throw a disc at the moment at all, and that was really a precision throw there to the break side, moving the mark early. Really good discipline from Scandal. Sometimes you see teams, when it gets windy, just start to fall apart, make bad cuts, make desperate cuts. And I think that as this game has gone on, the poise that I've seen from this Scandal side, top to bottom, is growing. They're adjusting and they're learning in this game, and that really bodes well for them as they head into this later parts of the tournament.
Claudia Tajima marked by her former teammate Claire Trope as Schwa's backs are against the wall. Deep shot from Bailey, looking for Eisenbray, and Eisenbray goes up over Michelle Carey to make the grab. Reset to Runzo, four-side shot, and Morgan Caldwell is in bounds. Schwa back within 3.
That was a quick score. That's without turnovers. That's exactly what Schwa wanted. I really like the look there, kind of the give and go from Eisenbray early, and then attacked deep, using her height advantage in that end zone to come down with this. Really well read, out jumped, good defensive position by Scandal, but just not quite tall enough in that instance, and they're poised to the end zone all the way. I like it. I said that these teams weren't going to give up. They're not. They're still playing this game. We could say, oh, we're running out of time. Nobody's told them that.
Yeah, all season and all game long, we've seen Eisenbray be a real rock in the backfield for Portland Schwa, and you know, some of the leadership has really credited her performance. She's a rookie. She was thrown into playing every point as an O handler in her first tournament, and as head coach Bobby Goff tells it, she's kind of had this savvy and composure about her that's something you'd expect a 10-year veteran to have. And right there, we even saw some of her versatility, ability to stretch the field and make some big downfield plays.
Yeah, I think that's really important at this level of the game is to be able to break the pattern of what people expect you to do. Even if Eisenbray has been really doing great work of moving the disc and changing the point of attack, giving and going, but then going deep, catching the defender looking a little bit. I like it. I like when we break the pattern of what people expect us to do.
Scandal's offense working upfield now. Maddie Boyle scoobering over the cup and caught in traffic by Walker.
We've seen Schwa. And again, I think that was Aubrey Bishop with a D, or causing one with that mark.
It was either Bishop or France, and the shot to the end zone right away to JC Jones. Oh. And a quick break there from Schwa. This game's not over, folks.
Bringing it back within 2. We've seen them get Ds with that 4-person cup, using it like a scalpel when they really need a break. Aubrey Bishop doing work there, and I think it was JC Jones on the far side pushing upfield, immediately looking for that upwind score.
So that's a fantastic block there. Madeline Franz just stepping in at the perfect moment. Wolleson thought the disc was going to come right to her, but Franz getting the hand on the disc.
All right, we've seen Schwa make big comeback. They have the ability to do this. They've said, we heard at halftime that, you know, they're integrating new players into this. They're starting to find their groove together. They've had high highs and low lows. Sometimes that is frustrating, but I think that galvanizes us. I love this trust throw there on the pickup immediately, not even giving Scandal an opportunity to set their D.
Third assist of the game for Angelica Boyden, who has not been shy to pull the trigger for Portland Schwa. And Boyden on the pull for this one. Looks like it's going to come close to rolling out. Ritzman stops it before it hits the sideline, and Lori centers to Sourbeer. And this is that 3-3-1 defense with the wall at the front that you were describing earlier in the game, Katie.
Yeah, they're using it because it's a crosswind to try to trick them into all of these, side-to-side throws that seem easy but are really not, giving small gives. They're just losing yards right now, Scandal is. That one almost going to the ground. This one really requires patience from the handlers. Lori currently very patient, but they're not gaining yards. And that's always frustrating.
Contested catch there by Lori, swinging to Trope. Trope hammering over the top, and the wind just taking that one. You could see there was a pocket where Wollaston was staged, but the wind just pushing that disc further, and Boyden picked up and got Schwa moving right away. Here's Crystal Davis, pump faking the deep shot.
Fake me out.
Inside to Hancock. Up to JC Jones. Jones back to Hancock. Here's Boyden, 7 yards outside the goal line, shooting across the field. Jones is there, and Jones makes the one-handed grab. 3 goals in a row, 2 breaks in a row for Portland Schwa, and it's a 1-goal game once again.
It is. It's been a big thing, and I think actually it was maybe a missed call on the Scandal side. They went force forehand again, and Schwa is so comfortable with their forehands in the wind. They've been really successful with their force backhand, and they just didn't do it on this point, maybe because they started on offense and weren't really thinking about it. But Schwa, credit to them, forcing this frustration throw from Trope. They have to work a long way down the field, and they've just place themselves in a position to score. JC Jones does such a good job of being in good position on that far side every single time, under pressure.
Understands what her throwers are looking for. The second connection between Jones and Boyden in as many points. The 4th assist of the game for Angelica Boyden, and we've got a timeout on the field as Schwa has brought this game back to a 1-goal game. At one point, they were down 13-9.
Yeah, and it is in soft cap, which means it is a game to 14. And that means any score by Scandal in any of the last 3 points would have ended the game. But Schwa has not let them do that. They have absolute faith in themselves. I really like this game. It's been gritty on both sides. They've played pretty clean, but intense defensive efforts. They've made different looks, but I think that anytime that Scandal gets in a rhythm, Schwa has been able to disrupt that a little bit with their zone looks and then get Scandal on their heels. It's been a really fun chess match to watch between the two coaching staffs and these players as they figure out their matchups. But Schwa, in order to force a universe point, Schwa has to get a break right here. I see Aubrey Bishop there on the line, a very similar looking line to the D lines we've just watched get several breaks. You think they do the zone again?
Time will tell here as Allie Steinfeld unleashes the pull, and Sourbeer centers to Walker. JC Jones went fully horizontal, selling out to try and block that first upfield pass. Couldn't make the play, and now Schwa's defense is scrambling to recover. Scandal in the red zone, Sourbeer to Trope. All alone, but it looks like we might have had a pick call, as Brenna Bailey, who took an injury earlier in this game, is communicating with Trope.
I wouldn't be totally surprised. It was a lot of chaos upfield in the middle of that.
You got a pick.
Pick upheld, players resetting.
Okay, so we're saying what? There we go.
It's tense. It's tense. Scandal on the doorstep of winning this game.
Sourbeer once again to Trope. And that'll do it. DC Scandal survives a late 3-goal run from Portland Schwa. They win 14-12. They're now 2-0 in Pool D. Their only remaining game against the 4 seed at the tournament, the 1 seed in their pool, Phoenix.
Yeah, that's again going to be a big game. The point differential in this pool between those top 3 seeds is pretty small, and I think if somebody was to win an upset, it could really turn things on its head. Hats off to Schwa in this game, making a comeback. I'm just replaying in my own head that last point. They threw zone. JC Jones, there it is, flying through from that wing position to try to get a D. It was aggressive, which I liked because they needed that to hold. I think that's a call as a coach that you look back at and say, should I have thrown this zone again? Should I have gone person? Should I have let them play it out on a matchup situation? How does that all work out? But it was an absolute thrill of a game between these two teams. Scandal coming out on top, and I think several players making a big impact in this. Julia Sherwood for Schwa putting up big throws, making catches, especially in the first half of the game, giving big opportunities to her teammates to make scores here.
Julia Sherwood finishing this game with 2 assists and 1 goal, a really strong downfield presence. And how about that energy she's bringing between points as well? Clean. Rightfully celebrating. And we would be remiss if we didn't celebrate the fantastic performance of Claire Trope, accounting or having a hand in more than half of Scandal's 14 scores. 3 goals and 5 assists, including a string there in the second half where she figured in 4 straight scores for Scandal, 3 assists and 1 goal. And if you run that string further back to Scandal's 2 previous scores in the first half, that was 6 straight scores where she figured in. But let's zoom out for a second and take a look at the team-wide stats in this one, Katie.
For me, the one that stands out is the total turnovers. The difference in this game is 1 turnover. 1 turnover in this game, 1 missed decision, 1 caught disc somewhere else, and that would have been a totally different game. And I think that, we can talk about these games, but it's really those slim margins of turnovers that make a difference here in these Nationals games. There's no easy games.
Yeah, we saw a few really intentional strategic adjustments from both coaching staffs. We saw one team adapting to the wind a little more quickly than the other. We saw various zones deployed with various levels of effectiveness, and I think those are adjustments that these teams are just going to have to deal with and be better prepared for as this tournament rolls on.
Yeah, absolutely. A pleasure of a game to watch.
So Washington, D.C. Scandal takes this one 14-12. They're now 2-0 in Pool D. More breakdown when we come back. Scandal takes this one in Pool D 14-12 over Portland Schwa.
The last 50 years have seen a lot of positive change
around a whole range of important issues.
And some things remain reassuringly unchanged.
Like the spirit of our game.
Ultimate is 50 years young.
And still a perfect circle
of fair play,
athletic pursuit,
and camaraderie.
In fact, Ultimate was a social network
Before social networks even existed.
Respetamos nuestras diferencias
And understand the value that they add.
The revolution of the disc in flight continues to prove
that there's nothing we can't achieve
when we pull together.
Long live Ultimate.
Larga vida Ultimate.
Long live Ultimate.
Welcome back to the Surf Cup Sports Park in San Diego, California. Washington, D.C. Scandal taking care of business against Portland Schwa, 14-12. And Andrea DeSabato is standing by on the sidelines with Claire Trope.
Hi, Andrea DeSabato here with Claire Trope. Clearly made an impact throughout the game. So you started down a little bit, came back, you had a huge momentum. What changed the momentum? What did you do?
I think we're a new team, and there's a lot of people who, we've 9 people who've never been to nationals before, and it's like a big stage and a lot of pressure, and I think just finding our rhythm is really important and believing that we can do it, and I think we turned it around. We knew we could, and then we kept rolling.
What do you have to say about throws in the wind? It looks like you didn't shy away from taking some of those deep shots, and did you have sort of a game plan for that, or was it just sort of the confidence,
Me as an individual or our team?
Both.
We did talk at half about being a little bit more comfortable shooting deep, that going downwind, a little bit of field position, and then also don't change your game because of the wind. We're great throwers, we're great players, we can get it, and might as well take those shots and see what we can convert.
Yeah, what are you saying with all these new players at nationals? What's the message to them? Is sort of come out, play your game, or how do you?
Yeah, I think it's you take it one game at a time, and for all these new people, I think it's really special to get to be on this stage, and so I think in a lot of ways, we're playing for those people to give them more games and to see how far we can get in this tournament. It really feels like we have nothing to lose, so I think we're trying to play like that.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks so much, Andrea. Great to hear from the unquestioned star of the game. And Claire Trope involved in 8 of DC Scandal's 14 scores. Early on, Julia Sherwood making her presence known, but ultimately DC Scandal coming out on top in this one, Katie.
There were just such great plays by both teams in this. Like we said, it was separated by 1 turnover. It's 2 points, but 1 turnover is the difference in this game. Really making impactful plays. I loved all of the blocks. That was Aubrey Bishop with that one. I felt like I talked about that one a lot because that zone block is so fun to get in that handler space. Oldershaw there out to Trope.
So DC Scandal moves up to 2-0 in Pool D. Portland Schwa falls to 0-2 after losing to Phoenix, but this is not the end of Ultiworld's coverage today. We've got 1 live free game from each of the 2 remaining rounds and Field Pass for Plus subscribers in each of the 2 remaining rounds. For Andrea DeSabato, Katie Killebrew, and our entire crew, I'm Ian Toner. I hope you'll stay with us. We got more action coming to you live from Surf Cup Sports Park.